I'm going to be on brand here and talk about 2 comic book movies. One good, one not so good, but still kind of enjoyable. The Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm going to start with the Wolverine first because I actually think it's very, very underrated. It's all about kind of Logan and just going back and discovering his past, but in the good way and not with CGI claws and brother plots and weird Deadpool no-mouth shenanigans and Will.i.am and Blob Man and all that. Getting sidetracked. The Wolverine is really, really good, and it has it's almost like a western in a way that it's framed. It was directed by James Mangold, who previously did 3:10 to Yuma and who went on to do Logan, and it's all about Wolverine kind of losing his powers as he goes back to Japan. Kind of gets called back there after, because for some odd reason in the Fox X-Men movies, Wolverine was everywhere during World War II. He was at D-Day and then also was at Hiroshima when the bombs dropped and he kind of saved someone, and basically gets called back in to do a favor. He discovers that he's losing his powers, and then it's a really, really kind of down-to-earth Frank Miller-esque Wolverine up until the final 10 minutes where he goes and has a big fight with the Silver Samurai. But the problem is, the Silver Samurai in this film is this big Hulkbuster X robot kind of thing. And for the entirety of the film, it's actually been really down to earth. Wolverine's basically been fighting with the Yakuza, and then he just faces off against this guy. It's the most ridiculous, generic CGI kind of rote crap ever, and it's so annoying. To make matters worse, the alternate deleted ending, they show Wolverine getting on the plane and they hand him his original yellow and brown costume. They hand him it, and then considering the entire X-Men series has just been crappy leather costumes, you hear them when they walk. It's gross. And it's you could have had that costume and it never appeared ever again. So that is crap.
I absolutely hate the ending to Source Code, and I think it's because I really enjoy the 9/10 of the film that comes before it. It's a really interesting, enjoyable story where basically Jake Gyllenhaal, through some sort of weird magic, can go back in time to a specific 2-3 minute period before a train gets blown up by a bomb. Just can keep going back, keep looping, and has been tasked with finding out who set the bomb so he can somehow help people in the future with stopping this terrorist attack in America. It's great that they sort of slowly unveil that in reality he is an injured soldier who they're using through weird hacking into his brain science things. They're using him because he is effectively worthless to everyone else. And yeah, he can keep going back, and he's been tasked with doing this one job, and he slowly realizes where he is. And at the end of the film, he stops the bomb from going off, he saves the world, but of course, at the end of the Source Code, at the end of that brief period of time, he's told, we're gonna switch him off in the film. They say they're gonna turn off his life support machine and let him die. And so they do that, but he doesn't die, he just enters this alternate dimension where he controls another man's body. And you're like, okay, I get it in the terms of the little brief period that he can hack into this alternate person's head and body and everything else. But why can he now just go on and live this entire alternate life when he doesn't look like what he knows he looks like? Surely he's going to go insane. It's just a weird bollocks conclusion to what is a really enjoyable film. And I also want to very quickly mention the ending to the film Lucy with Scarlett Johansson in, which is another really enjoyable film until right at the end, where she goes from being this woman who's got these cool, weird drugs, don't do drugs, these cool, weird drugs inside of her that means she can change stuff and access more of her brain or whatever, and can change the colour of her hair. And then it gets a bit out of hand and she can, control stuff with her mind, and you're thinking, oh, I don't really understand this. And then legitimately, at the end of that film, she turns into a USB drive. What? It's all this exciting shootout action film, and she turns into a USB drive because she knows everything. She might as well turn into that bloody paperclip from Microsoft Word.
I hate the movie ending. This is going to be short. This is going to be like me. This is going to be short and horrible. I hate the ending for the film The War of the World, but not the one you think. It's the same ending for both the original and the remake, but I think it works for the original, because when did that come out? Like 1812 or something. Like, it was before ideas in film were really a thing. You just kind of just did whatever the book said, didn't you, back in the day? And it sort of works there. Oh, they're terrible, they're horrible, but there's a moral story about how we've earned the right to live on this planet because of penicillin and what do you do with the milk, pasteurization and all that. Like, we've earned the right to live on this planet. But then they did a remake, didn't they, with Tom Cruise, and they completely redid the story. It wasn't about like this soldier or this scientist, it was about this man with his family, and it was going to be taking a different look at it. And all these different ideas, and Spielberg was going to Spielberg himself all over it. And I thought, you know what? That's probably quite good, because they'll remake this, they'll change all the bits that didn't quite work up, and best yet, we'll get an ending which actually makes sense. It doesn't just come out of nowhere and like, oh, they got cold, so they're all dead, so I guess we can get on with our lives. I thought this would be great, we're gonna get a better ending. And I went to the cinema and saw it, and it's a completely different film right up until the ending, when it's exactly the same ending. And that blew chunks, that did. It's absolutely just, what a cop-out that is. The one thing you had to try for. You could have done the entire rest of the film exactly the same and then thought about the ending, but instead he thought about the entire film and just half-assed the ending. It's like, oh, they've got this bacteria, because they've mastered the entirely non-trivial challenge of intergalactic spaceflight, arrived on a planet with vastly superior arms and whatever, and they haven't just got like a hazmat suit. Like, they haven't regulated the air in any way. Like, we wouldn't even do that. We're meant to be the idiots in this film. And we wouldn't even go to Mars and just be like, oh, this would be fine. Would they? And they're meant to be this, like, superior intelligence. So stupid. So stupid. Worse than Signs. I'm going to go on to one here. You ever seen Signs?
Yeah.
Again, aliens mastered the non-trivial challenge of intergalactic spaceflight 3 times in the film. Can't kick down a wooden door. They've got legs that allow them to jump clean over a building. And they can't kick down a wooden door 3 times.
70% water.
And didn't think, oh, it's water. What's this? You don't think it's literally in the air. You walk around, there's water vapor in the air. It's like, oh.
Now, the movie ending I hate the most is, it's categorically the worst movie ending of all time. But it's not up for contest because it genuinely is, and it is The Devil Inside. And you've probably heard of it for its ending alone, because I can see Josh Brown having one in the corner.
I almost did this one.
Yeah. It's bad. Ewan, it's bad.
They're in the elevator.
No, that's Devil. Also a Shyamalan film, as we've had Signs. But no, this one is not Shyamalan. I can't remember the director's name. Cut that.
Never say his name.
No, this one isn't a Shyamalan film. It is a found footage film, and it follows all the conventions of like a spooky type found footage film where they're like, oh, okay, let's go and see what's going on with exorcisms, because me mom's a crazy demon bitch who's killed 3 people, so I've got to figure out what's gone on with her.
Your mother is.
No, well, the woman of this film, her mother's a crazy demon bitch. Wendy, my mom, she's quite nice. But yeah, this girl's got to figure out what's going on with her mom. She's killed people, she's been exorcised, and she's like, right, I'm going to go into exorcisms and figure out what's going on with these to see if I can learn more about my mother. And she doesn't, because by the end of the film, all the demons have gone everywhere, and there's basically this big car crash where everyone's like, oh, where are the demons? What's going to happen? Big car crash. Film ends. Cut to black. Go to the website to find out more. Go to the website to find out more about this case. The film doesn't actually end. It sends you to a website, and the actual cincher of this whole thing about going to the website is the website's been fucking taken down. You watch this film now, you ain't getting an ending. Like, it's bad.
What was on the website?
Trash, literally just trash, outtakes, crap, it was bad. I can't even remember what was on the website because it wasn't even a solid ending. You shouldn't have to go to a website to find the ending, really, should you? No, you shouldn't. It should just be in the film, and it should be satisfying, it should be a whole complete thing, but no. Car crash, cut to black, head over here, go and have a look, type it in, domain denied, basically.
All over the show.
Yeah, literally. Where are the demons? I don't fucking know, they're not on the website, so that's the end of that.
Well, I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen a film called Remember Me.
Boo!
No, okay, go. So it's about this man, played by Robert Pattinson, called Tyler. He's called Tyler.
And it's about a family drama, kind of like a romance film. It's about him connecting with his dad called Charles, I think, who's like this businessman. He doesn't have time for his family, doesn't have time for his kids. So it's Tyler, played by Robert Pattinson, his brother who committed suicide years prior, and the young daughter Caroline. It's about them kind of trying to reconnect and sort of like go through all these horrific, traumatic events and sort of be a family together. Meanwhile, Tyler's off like shagging this other lass, and like he's trying to try it on with her, but she's got a complicated life as well. It takes a long time for them to finally admit they love each other. Anyway, all this finally gets sorted out right towards the end of the movie. Tyler reconnects with his dad reconnects with his daughter, he finally come to terms with his brother's death, and he finally tells this other girl called, I think, Ali, that he loves her. But then, on the next day, he goes to a meeting with his dad. And his dad drops his daughter off at school, and she sits down in the classroom, and then the teacher writes on the blackboard, September the 11th, 2001. What? So then you cut to Robert Pattinson in his dad's office, looking around the looking around the office. He looks out the window, the camera pans from a close-up, it zooms all the way out. He's in the World Trade Center, right? And then you don't see anything actually happen, but you see the aftermath, so then he's dead. And that's how they resolve all of these disparate issues. It's like, it's almost like they left the homework to the last minute and they didn't know how to tie it up. And like, they've had a few jars the night before and like, right, David, right, how do we solve this, man? Well, I don't know how to wrap this up, but he just goes, I don't know, man, like, it's like 9/11 or something.
If I still have time, I'm going to talk The Amazing Spider-Man now, because I actually think that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were fantastic in those films. And the actual film ends with the death of Captain Stacy, gets crushed by like a satellite tower or something. It's really sad. And then his dying wish is basically, Peter, don't shag Gwen, you'll kill her if you shag Gwen. And that's not because he has radioactive sperm, which he does in one of the comics. Well, that's another thing that you can talk about. But basically, the next 5 minutes of the film is just them two moping around for 5 minutes going, I can't be with you, I'm Spider-Man, I can't be with you. And it's just the most frustrating thing ever, because it's just like, well, we know you're going to get back together and you're going to break you. And literally 5 minutes later, Peter just leans in behind Gwen and goes, the best thing about promises is that they're meant to be broken. It's like, it ends on the credits there, and it's just the most disgusting, gross thing. It's like, this man's dying wish is for you not to, kill Gwen. And what goes and happens in the next film? Neck gets snapped. Neck snapper Gwen.